What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things box. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on all, and you get notified straight away as soon as we drop new content. So let's get into this one. So we're talking in this one about Conor Benn, the Destroyer. And Conor Benn, according to an interview I saw of him, which I believe was in the Matchroom HQ in that massive garden of however many acres it is. So Conor Benn, according to his coach, and I think according to Eddie Hearn as well, he allegedly might be making a comeback at light middleweight or super welterweight, 154 pounds. And at this present time, from what they were saying in the interview, what he was saying is that he's got an American license, or there's states in America where they would be willing to license a fight with him. So he's kind of got the ball rolling. He also spoke about Chris Eubank Jr., as they always get asked about each other. Eubank Jr. about him and Ben about Eubank. So that happens. And in his eyes, he seems very, very serious and, his usual sort of aggressive self. And he was saying, look, the Eubank Jr. fight has got to happen. He said that it's personal between him and Eubank because of what Eubank said. And for those who don't know, Eubank basically said, in response to Conor Benn not being impressed with his win over Liam Smith, what Eubank said was, yeah, the juice is still in his system or something of that nature. And he said that in the press conference after he beat Liam Smith. So Eubank has, been ridiculing Ben over the time since he failed that PED test. So for Conor Benn, he's saying, nah, this is personal. He's still got anger about that, and he's serious, And of course, he had to mention Eubank again, saying that he wasn't impressed with Chris Eubank Jr.'s win over Liam Smith. He said that if it was him in there and someone's not thrown back, he'd get rid of the guy very, very quickly. He was saying that, Chris Eubank Jr. took far too long to get rid of Liam Smith because Liam Smith wasn't thrown back. So he said if he's in there, he's smoking Liam Smith and he'd deal with him very, very quickly. He also said that he would finish Chris Eubank Jr. within about 3 rounds. He said he was saying 4 rounds earlier on. But now, after seeing Chris Eubank against Liam Smith, he believes that he can do it 1 round quicker. So according to Conor Benn, he smokes Eubank Jr. within 3 rounds. And he also said, in Sky Sports interview, that he 160 pounds with no rehydration clause is the condition he's happy to fight Chris Eubank Jr. under. He said he's got no problem. 160 is no problem. He said he's even sometimes walks around about 170 or something like that. So he said not a problem for him. He said the only demand that he wants is he wants a small ring, 18-foot ring. And I suppose that might be because he's a smaller fighter, and also because of the way he fights quite aggressively. He's a come-forward, aggressive fighter that likes to put the pressure on you and break you down. That's what Conor Benn likes to do. And, Eubank Jr., as I've covered in a separate video, Eubank was much more relaxed, much more calm in his demeanor than was Conor Benn. And he basically said, well, okay, the fight can happen, but it happens only when Conor Benn clears his name, when he legitimately has nothing hanging over his head, when all his allegations drop. So, interesting thoughts there by Conor Benn. I think of Eubank and Benn, the one who's keen for the fight is definitely Conor Benn. The one who's got more of a chip on his shoulder is definitely Conor Benn. As far as the American license, for me, that still sort of smells of him not quite being completely cleared. Whether or not they'll take the fight in America, he seemed to be quite sure, at least in what he was saying, that yes, he's going to fight in America. I think that it's one of those things where I think he does need to come back. He does need to have a fight, but I would like to see the name properly cleared. I get the feeling if he does fight in America, it might be one of those fights with not so much notoriety. It might be one of those fights where it's kind of undercover. It doesn't have that much publicity around it. But yeah, I'd be more than happy once he clears his name. I want to hear more information on Conor Benn, but I think once he clears his name, I would love to see him fighting again, because I think he's an explosive fighter, good fighter, and he's a guy that sort of brings a lot to the table. He's got a lot of potential. If he does get in the ring with Chris Eubank Jr. and that is his next fight, I definitely back Chris Eubank Jr. to win. I just think probably just as it might be a simple case of too big and too strong. And I think of the two, as I've mentioned in previous videos, that Chris Eubank Jr. has been in there against good competition, strong competition, you know, world-class guys. Whereas Conor Benn hasn't done that as yet at welterweight, and for him to jump up to middleweight and deal with Chris Eubank Jr. quickly, as he says, I mean, that would be massive for his career. I mean, for his reputation, for Conor Benn, I mean, I'd say of the two, he's got nothing really to lose in fighting Chris Eubank Jr. Whereas Eubank Jr., if he did lose to Conor Benn, that would be massive. That would be a massive amount of ridicule. I mean, that would be a killer. That would be a case of, you know, you could even say maybe career over if he was to lose to Conor Benn, simply because of, you know, the fact Conor Benn's a welterweight. He's not proven himself as a, you know, sort of world-class welterweight as yet. So for you to lose to him as a middleweight and, you know, former super middleweight, that would be devastating to the reputation. But let me know what you think about this. Conor Benn may make a comeback in America. That's what he was hinting at. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism, over and out.